I like to say this is his book. He's the author of this reality, man. And Yahweh is the first author, you know? He's the author of this reality. And you won't have no idea on how much control the Lord has, man. Omnipotent he is. Right? So let's see what these spirits can do. It says, verse 29, it says, fire and hail and famine and death, all these were created for vengeance. Teeth of wild beasts and scorpions, serpents, and a sword punishing the wicked to destruction. So there's certain spirits that is able to cause wildfires. You know? I don't know every detail how they able to do it. They got that spiritual power, man. It says, and hail, certain spirits that is able to control the elements. Right? And one thing, and it's just to show you the stupidity of the people, man. They think Esau, got the knowledge to control the weather by their own selves. Ultimately, it was the Lord that gave Esau Edom knowledge and the ability to control the weather to some degree. And it's not no secret. They even speaking about in the news. The government able to control the weather. They got it in the news, man. Everyone, they mother know it. And they sister know it, and they daughter know it. It says famine. So there's certain spirits that the Lord will use to bring forth famine. And one thing the people don't understand is that Esau Edom, the so-called white man, is a spirit himself. Are we not spirit souls in these earthen vessels? The Lord have control over us, over our souls. So the Lord could put it in the Lord can control the soul of the elites. That they may bring forth famine. Because ultimately, which I believe, is a very, possible thing, is that ultimately the elites, the Illuminati, or this government, they want a famine, or they may be causing a famine, man. Right? That's why back then, a couple of months ago, there's been, fires, man, in these different places. In fact, there's been reports on how these farmers, in agriculture, these farmers is basically being hindered by the government. So that's something that Esau may bring forth, famine. Ultimately they doing they're fulfilling the role, if you will. But let's continue reading. It says, and death. Revelation chapter 6, I think chapter 8 verse 8, chapter 6 verse 8, it tell you there's going to be death on the earth. In fact, John the Revelator, he's seen a vision of a pale horse and death riding upon it, which is ultimately symbolic for what the Lord unleashing death on the earth, by using famine, war, etc. It says all these were created for vengeance. And that's something that the world don't know. It's that every evil that you could possibly think of that affected the people on this earth has been caused by the Lord, man. All the way to the time of the flood to now, every evil that have ever happened that have affected the people on this earth to some degree, in some point in their life, or in some age or time on this earth, that have been caused by the Lord, man, for vengeance. Because people, the world, they do with evil every day. This is a lawless society. And they think the Lord won't consider it. They think the Lord won't or they think the Lord will continue to ignore it, you know, being his creation and coming against him in our works and in our words. You think the Lord won't check it, man? You think the Lord won't consider it, man? And the Lord is a terrible power, and he's a God that loveth judgment. That's what people don't understand. The Lord is a God that loves judgment. He loves justice, right? He loves the things that are right. He loves to do right. He loves things that is right. He loves order. So all this evil on earth, especially in Babylon the Great, the Lord is going to bring forth evil. You know? Verse 30 says, teeth of wild beasts and scorpions and serpents. And that's another thing. The Lord is able to use certain animals. You know, the Lord is able to control the spirits of these animals, man, to bring forth evil or to do, or to hunt, to eat. You know, in fact, there's been reports of whales and sea animals basically attacking people on boats. You know, there's been, a couple of news reports, recently. You know, so the Lord is able to use animals to kill. A lot of times, every animal event or animal attack you've seen or that have ever taken place on this earth, best believe it was the Lord that caused it. Right? The Lord, he don't gotta kill you in war. He don't gotta kill you by old age or by disease. He'll use an animal to kill you. Or he use a person to kill you. You know? The Lord may bring up an enemy against you. You know? And guess what? The Lord, he gonna do that. He's gonna bring up Esau, Edom, and his militaries to basically slaughter the wicked in these last days, the evil people in these last days, which is damn land the majority of the earth. You know, the majority of the earth is wicked. So the Lord gonna be using different things to kill. You know, this is in the sword, punishing the wicked to destruction, and that's what I was going into. In the beginning of this lesson, is ultimately it is the Lord that's going to bring forth martial law. It may be Esau's purpose, but he's fulfilling his role in this existence in the movie of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Right, so the Lord is going to have Esau activate his troops, his soldiers, to bring forth evil, and death to the people. There's going to be concentration camps where people are going to be shut in, FEMA camps, or whatever you want to call it, prison camps, or whatever you want to call it. A lot of people are going to be cast out of their houses. A lot of people are going to be spoiled. Their house is going to be spoiled. FEMA's going to be ravished. We seen movies like The Book of Eli or The Purge. We see movies like that. Right, but we don't never consider how that's very well a possible reality for us, man. Right, if you want to learn more about, that Jacob's troubles, read 2nd Esdras chapter 15 and chapter 16. I'm not going to get into all of it, because a lot of shit that's going to happen. Insurrection, rebellion against government. Children's going to be taken away. American civilian is going to be robbing American civilian. People are going to be killing each other for food, for bread, for water. Dead bodies in the streets. The dead bodies shall stink up and stink. The dead bodies going to stink up the place in this country. Because that Jacob's trouble, those evil days, it's going to be a time when people, they're not going to think to bury each other. It's going to be a time where survival is going to be all the time. Death is gonna be everywhere. People ain't gonna think to bury their sibling, their cousin, their friend. They're gonna be too busy running from the sword, or trying to feed themselves, or trying to hunt for food. It says they shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth, and that ultimately could bring forth disease and pestilence. Those dead bodies in the streets. Man, it's gonna be a hell of a time. Verse 31 says they shall rejoice in his commandment, and they shall be ready upon earth. Meaning those angels, right? Those spirits, man. It says, and they shall be ready upon earth when need is and where the time is come. Meaning what? If the Lord want them to do something, any spirit, if the Lord want any spirit to do something, they gonna do it, and they may not even be aware of it, right? If the Lord want these angels or evil angels, demons to do something, they gonna do it, and they gonna be aware of it. They're gonna be aware that they're doing the will of the Lord, They're gonna be happily ready to do so, And when the time has come, they shall not transgress his word. And that's something that the people don't understand, man. These words, right? And what's something that's found in these scriptures in the Bible? You got counsel, advice, and instruction. You got warnings, right? But these prophecies foretelleth you or showeth you the will of the Lord. What's also written in the Bible? The intents of the Lord. You know how a person may write in a journal his desires and his intents and the things that he wants to happen and the things that he's going to do. And a same thing with the Lord, man. The Lord have his intents of his heart written in his book, man. When you read the scriptures, you read about how, or what you read about what the Lord gonna do. What you think these prophecies is? The prophecies concerning World War III, concerning Jacob's troubles. That's concerning what the Lord wants. It says, therefore, from the beginning, I was resolved and thought upon these things, and left them in writing. So from there, I want to go to the book of I want to go to the book of Salakia. I was thinking about a scripture. Bear with me real quick. Oh, Con, let's get Isaiah real quick. Fuck it. Isaiah chapter 55, verse 10. It says, for as the rain cometh down, and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower and bread to the eater. And that's like, the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. What do rain do? It brings forth a certain effect. It affect the earth itself. That's the word of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. That's the desires of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. That's these scriptures. These scriptures literally is going to affect this whole reality. That's why Paul said, who have resisted his will. These scriptures is literally going to trump everything. These prophecies, the scriptures that speaks about what the Lord going to do or what's going to happen on the earth, is literally going to be fulfilled. It's literally going to affect the earth and make it a reality. You know? So like how rain affected the earth, that's like the word of the Lord. These scriptures is the word of the Lord. So these scriptures are ultimately going to affect the earth itself. You know? It says, so shall my words be that goeth forth out of my mouth, and it shall not return unto me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please. You know? And it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it. Right? And we don't have no, man, we cannot comprehend the power of Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai. You know? He, that created the elements, that created vibration itself, that created all this energy on the earth in this existence. He's the source, man. So imagine what power his word hold. Imagine what power or how sure these scriptures is. You know? All you gotta do is just say a word and it happens. These scriptures will literally be fulfilled. You know? World War III will happen. The devil will come upon this earth with great wrath, which is the militaries, the elites coming down upon the people with great wrath. That will happen, man. Jacob's troubles will come to pass. It says, and it shall prosper in a thing whereto I sent it. You know? So there's a certain spiritual working or operation that's happening that we cannot see. But those of us that know these scriptures and that believe in Yahweh Bashem, Yahweh Shai, and that understand this truth, we are aware of it. You know, so I'm going to close off on that. Lord willing, this lesson's edifying. I want to give double honors to the elder apostles, great most known. Peace and blessings unto the elect. Salute shalom to the fellow laborers pushing his truth. And all praise and honor and glory be to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, shalom.